So excited, you guys. I'm finally doing a dreaming video. Finally! I said that I'm going to do this for like years and I'm finally getting to it. Today's video is going to be a sort of like a series. So the first part, which is just trying to make sure that you have dreams and that you remember them, because what good is lucid dreaming and psychic dreaming and all of this stuff if you don't even like have dreams or remember what they're about. So I'm going to give you guys a bunch of tips on how to make sure that happens. I do want to do a course on this eventually. So if the course is already up, I will link it in the description down below. And I want to give out even more tips and tricks. But for now, if you're just catching this new, I'm going to create these 4-part series. Now I studied psychic dreaming, lucid dreaming, all of that good stuff in the program that I took to become psychic. I think my coach really believed that dreaming is such an essential part of your intuition. It's just so hard not to skip it. And I love dreaming. I probably get too lost in it sometimes. It is some of the places that I get the most intuitive information, and I absolutely love it as a resource, but it can also be one of the most frustrating exercises to do because you can't command dreams to happen, and then sometimes you'll have them and then they're just gone. You wake up and you're like, oh, dang it. But I think they can be one of the best tools to use with your psychic ability. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Lauren. I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, I'm an animal communicator, I'm a medical intuitive, but mostly on this channel, I'm a psychic coach. I'm all about teaching you guys how to strengthen your psychic abilities, and I basically go over all these different exercises, tools that you can use to hone your abilities and rely on your intuition even more. I also do have YouTube memberships. It's kind of like the Patreon of YouTube, and those kind of get you access to member-only lives, member-only videos, so extra content. So if you're interested in that, check out the blue join button on my page. So sort of the outline I'm going to go through is kind of the basics of sleep, like just understanding how sleep and sleep cycles work. And then I'm going to go through dream incubation is technically what it's called. It's about, it's like you're warming something up, you're incubating, you're preparing, you're trying to manifest dreams. And there's different tips and exercises you can do to try to make dreams happen while you're awake. And then the last thing is dream recall, and that's remembering your dreams when you actually wake up. And then future videos, we're going to get into interpreting your dreams, the types of dreams, psychic dreaming, which goes into a whole nother ballgame, and then lucid dreaming, a whole nother ballgame after that. So keep an eye out for those videos. But today we're just talking about how to have them and how to remember them, which is honestly, I feel like the majority of us, we have that problem. So getting into sleep basics. Now you guys probably all learned this sometime in school, but forgot about it. Or maybe you know, but basically there are different cycles of sleep. You have your non-REM time, kind of like your deep sleep where you're not dreaming, and then REM, which is where you actually dream. So these cycles can be like 90 to 110 minutes. The thing is you have little kind of bouts of REM earlier in the night, and then the longer you go, that's kind of like your longer REM stages. Mostly when you're older. Kids, babies are obviously different. But the important thing is that you need these REM cycles to be able to dream. So my biggest tip is that you have to have a consistent sleep schedule. And sometimes it might even take you like a week or two just to get into a sleep schedule that's consistent, so then you can start dreaming. Because even if you're sleeping 9 hours or 8 hours, you're getting your full amount of hours, if it's different every single night and you're going to bed at like 8 and then you're going to bed at midnight and then you're going to bed at 3, it can screw up a lot, and sometimes you don't always go into those stages, or sometimes it's like less. So really, honestly, when I dream the best, it's because I'm sticking to a consistent sleep schedule. Now that being said, the average time that they recommend for adults for sleeping is 8 hours. But the thing is that is an average. So that might not work for you. I used to think that I needed 9 hours of sleep, but then I started to realize that actually that was too much, and I woke up groggy. And when I let myself naturally like wake up on my own and not like set any alarms, I found that 8.5 hours is like my perfect sweet spot. That's where I feel the best. So that's like another tip, is like figure out what your exact hours are and then make sure you're going to the bed at the same time every night. And honestly, if you can't do this, you can't get mad if you're not having dreams. It's such a huge critical part, because if you are waking yourself up early from that REM stage, you might not be getting to the best part of when you could be dreaming. Also play around with like alarms too. Sometimes alarms can either help or hurt you, in the sense of like they might wake you up too soon, or they might, I don't know, just disrupt your sleep. Sometimes like the anxiety of knowing your alarm is going to go off can be enough for you to like be stressed out and wake up too early. But sometimes it's good to have an alarm, or else you could just keep going and sleeping and sleeping and sleeping. And you want to wake yourself up when you remember those dreams. So first and foremost, you have to get onto a good sleep schedule, and that might take some time. But you can do a lot of other things to incubate those dreams while you're kind of getting on a more consistent schedule. I mean, and it's just good for your sleep health anyway to do that. So now I'm just going to give you a bunch of tips on how you can incubate your dreams. The first thing you can do while you're waking is to find a dream helper. So this is like the equivalent of when I say to find like a psychic guide, like a guide who's here to specifically help with like your psychic abilities. Find a guide that's going to help you with your with your dreams. Now you can do this like as a meditation while you're awake, and you can ask for like a dream helper to come through, or you can try, and I'd suggest doing both, before going to bed, asking a dream helper to come through and introduce themselves. And so having a dream helper that you can talk to while you're both awake or you're asleep is sometimes helpful, because then you have like one specific guide that's meant for dreaming that, you know, you can just connect with them and ask them all your questions related to that. And then when you're dreaming too and you see them, it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's this guide. And you'll be able to remember them and work with them mid-dream. If you aren't sure and you're still struggling, this could totally be something you do the automatic drawing or the automatic writing for. Like, I want to meet my dream helper, and then you can draw them out or write out describing who they are and what they look like. Another thing you can do to incubate your dreams is to set alarms on your phone. So this could be alarms that say, I remember my dreams, or I dream every night. And if you set it to go off multiple times during the day, then you're constantly pulling up your phone and you're reminding myself, oh yeah, I have psychic dreams. I remember my dreams. You can also download like affirmation apps that constantly like put up affirmations. Like I have a little app on my home screen that cycles through all of my affirmations, and you can put some dream ones in there. But constantly reminding yourself throughout the day just keeps your mind on it a lot. And like one of my biggest tips for dream incubation is honestly talking about dreams is like sometimes all you need to have better dreams. And I bet you, purely because I'm going to make this video, that tonight I'm going to have more dreams. And that's the thing, is sometimes when you're just thinking about it a lot, you are just naturally manifesting it by law of attraction. And my next tip is to really validate your dreams. Now this is probably, and I'm getting chills, but this is where I could have started my psychic abilities as a young kid, because I had dreams that were very crazy, very vivid, and I was definitely probably getting psychic information through my dreams. But that's like one of the first things our parents tell us when we're young, is that dreams aren't real. And there's nothing malicious behind this. Our parents are trying to make us understand like it can't affect us, and like they're trying to like ease us and comfort us, which is important. But in a way, we've been taught for a very long time that our dreams aren't real. And because of that, nothing that happens in it is important. And when you kind of go into dreams with that mindset, you ignore them. You don't pay attention to them. They're not important. Why should I remember my dreams? Why should I have dreams? So untraining that is super important. And one of the things you can do is just validate it by talking about it to other people, talking about it to yourself, like even if you're just journaling, and write about it in a sense of like, not just like what my dream was last night, but more of like, where did I go last night? Like, what place did I visit? And what you're doing here is you're saying that there is another reality here. There's the reality of my mind. It's a real place. It's a valid place. And, you know, it might not actually be like another universe, or, you know, it might not be another realm. Maybe some of you believe that, and that's totally fine. It could just be your subconscious, but the point here is to, as much as you can when you're speaking about dreams, validate them, believe in them, trust that they're real, trust that there's messages there for you. Now again, for Incubating Dreams, you can listen to hypnosis tracks, you can read books. Honestly, just getting your mind on it, reminding yourself, saying affirmations to yourself that this is going to happen is going to be the biggest thing you can do throughout the day. But right before bed, what you want to do if you're trying to incubate a dream, start a dream journal. And what I would do is have something, I would honestly use a different journal than I use like for like my readings or, you know, when I'm doing things for myself or my clients. I kind of have like a psychic journal. Actually, I think it's right behind me. So this is like my psychic journal. And I put readings, predictions that I make. I put like pictures of my guides and stuff. But this honestly would not work as a very good dream journal because like in the middle of the night, if I'm trying to like write and I'm having to unravel it and like the pages don't stay open and then this little thing kind of gets in my way, it needs to be something that works for you. And it needs to be something that you already have the page open and ready so that the second you wake up, you can turn around and grab it. It's ready to go. So if your room is very dark, like I like to sleep in like pitch black rooms, sometimes getting like a little book light will also help. And I'll link the one that I use down in the description down below. But you want to have a piece of paper, pen, a light, ready to go right next to your bed. So if you need a bedside table, like go out and get one. The point here is that you really need it close and accessible fast because sometimes you can forget those dreams pretty darn quickly. Now you can do one of two things with your journal. You can just put in an affirmation. Maybe it's just the same ones that you've been saying all day, which is I will dream tonight. I am going to dream tonight. It could even be like I will remember my dreams in the morning. It could be like both of those combined. Or if you want to take it to the next level and you want to dream about something or get information about something, remember to put this in present tense. I am going to dream about this situation tonight. So pretend you're really stressed about like a relationship you have. I am going to dream about the relationship with my mom tonight. I'm going to dream about this new job that I'm considering taking. And then you can put it in your journal. And the thing is, you got to let it go. You got to trust that the universe heard you and that somewhere in your dream that night, you will receive information on it. So that's kind of getting into like the psychic dreaming, using your dreams to receive information. And I'm just giving that to you now to practice with. And I don't think it's like the worst thing to try because honestly, it might take a couple nights for you to even like remember anything or get anything. But the point is you're doing it every night. You're saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to dream tonight. And then before bed, you can listen to like a hypnosis track for dreaming. You can even say those affirmations in your head. Again, remember to let it go and then just go to sleep. Now, when you wake up, this is starting to get into dream recall. So trying to remember our dreams. The first thing you want to do, if you can, and this has always been hard for me, is to try not to move. Don't move because you know sometimes like the second you move, your like physical body, you're just brought back into this reality and it's like it's gone. It's like instantly gone. And for some of you this might work and some of you this might not work at all. But try not to move and then try to bullet point an outline of things that happened in your dream, in your mind. Kind of like go through them, bullet point it, and don't worry about like filling in all the information in between. You can do that later. What you want to do is just kind of get the general outline so you don't miss any major chunks. And even if like you can't remember the outline that's correct, you can always like number it later or like draw little arrows so that you have the correct ordering, but you want to try to get that outline of a dream as much as possible. And then what you want to do is immediately go grab your dream journal, pick up your pen or your pencil, whatever you have, make sure that's like ready to go so you're not like getting hung up on like a pen or like not being able to see. And then write down those bullet points, write down as much as you possibly can. And then if you have more time, you can go in and fill in all the details. You can come back to it later. Honestly, the closer you can do this in the morning, the better. So if you need to wake up like an extra 30 minutes or 15 minutes earlier just to do this, shift your schedule of when you go to bed earlier. Now, if you can't remember the bullet points, just write down anything. Write down anything you remember, even if it's not like a coherent idea, if it's just a color or an emotion that you had, write down anything you can. And the point here is to not be like, oh, well, I didn't get anything and I'm giving up. And you don't want to tell your dreaming mind that, again, that you invalidate it. You want to try to get anything that you can possibly get. And then throughout the day, like, I don't know about you guys, but throughout the day, sometimes I'll just get flashes of like what my dream was the previous night, or literally, it's weird because like as I'm getting into bed, like that next night, it's like all of a sudden I start remembering. So, keep a journal on you, or, jot down notes in your phone. And then you can always add it to your dream journal later. And with dream recall, it's really about jumping back into those affirmations. It's about thinking and talking about dreams again. So like if you go a night and you can't remember, you just can't beat yourself up. You have to keep focusing on, no, I am going to remember my dreams. Another big thing that will help you not only have dreams, but also remember them more is by acting on the information that you receive in the dreams. And that doesn't mean like do whatever the dream tells you necessarily. It just means that you're basically saying, oh, I got something important out of this dream, and therefore I am going to take action on some of it. So you could even have a dream where you're like stressed out about something, and it's kind of like a worry dream where you're manifesting, your thoughts that you had throughout that day. And it's not that you need to like go and like worry more about it. You can acknowledge that the dream was bringing to your attention some of your like inner thoughts, and you can move forward being like, all right, thank you, dream. I'm going to move forward and try to manage those worries a little bit better. It's like you're telling the dreams that you're listening and you want to know more. And so when you're telling your dreams and your psychic ability these things, you start to have them more and you start to remember them. It's just kind of like this cyclical effect. And do know, you guys, that with this, you're going to go through moments where you get a lot of dreams. There's going to be moments where you just don't dream at all. If you're stressed, if your sleep cycle's off, obviously it's going to be tougher. A point that my coach made when I was learning that I thought was very interesting, and let me know if this happens to you guys, but she always pointed out that your dreams on vacation are very different. And I don't know about you guys, but that's so true for me. Like, I dream more on my vacations, and or when you're just like in a completely different place. And her theory behind this was that you have less stresses. You're on vacation. You're not worried about all the things you're normally worried about. And so it's like you let more information come through. And so that's kind of like on to my next point of like doing your inner work is important. If you are constantly stressed out, if you are depressed, and I'm not saying like if you have these things you can't dream, but doing that inner work can sometimes help you have dreams more often, and it can help you remember them, because sometimes your brain just has to like shut it all down so that you can just not receive any more because you're just so overly stressed. So doing any sort of work on like past traumas, all of that can sort of manifest as nightmares, or it can manifest as just like these bad dreams. And then what happens is you start to become afraid of your dreams and you sort of shut them down. Maybe this has already happened to you. But it's so important to kind of always do that inner work, take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally. And then you might find that some of these techniques get a lot easier and you start dreaming more. Because just like our psychic ability, you can have blocks to dreaming. You can have things that get in your way of being able to receive dreams just as well. You're using your intuition when you are dreaming, I would argue. And so if you have blocks to your dreams, if you believe that they don't work, or if you believe that they're all going to be negative and that they're harmful or scary, then yeah, you're going to definitely shut it down and not let yourself have those anymore. And I also think when you're just like suppressing emotions, like I feel like our guides bring it to us in our dreams and they're like, you need to deal with this, here it is. And sometimes that's not the most fun place to deal with it. Sometimes it's easier to deal with that when you're awake and you're journaling and you can, work through it, go to a therapist, all of that. And so again, I think there could be some unconscious blocking off of you receiving those dreams because you might be, they might be manifesting in a way you don't like, or you might just have so many stressful things going on in life that they're just like not happening for you. Awesome. So that is dream incubation, dream recall, and some basics on sleep and sleep cycles. So the next video that I'm going to come out with is going to be all about dream types and dream interpretation. So the thing about interpreting your dreams is you can have different types of dreams and they mean different things, and there's symbols and there's literal, and there's a lot that goes on there. And honestly, I think a lot of people, including myself, decode their dreams incorrectly because they either look at books and it doesn't resonate. You have to understand how your guides communicate to you through symbols, or how, not even your guides as much as like, how does your brain interpret symbols? And then there's some dreams where like there might not be any messages there. There might just be like very basic. And so understanding the differences between all of those is helpful for interpreting those dreams. And then we're going to get into psychic dreaming. That'll be a whole nother video. So that's like taking it a step further of how do I get information from my dreams? How do I heal? How do I, achieve certain things, talk to spirits, talk to loved ones? And then lucid dreaming is like next level of starting to interact with things in your dreams. So pay attention for those videos. Also pay attention for the course that I'm going to have coming out on this. I'm going to have basically even more information packed into it. I want to do a fun little dreaming course for you guys. And let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. I try to upload new videos for you guys once a week. I also go live and give out readings once a week, so I hope to see you there. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I am so excited. Am I recording? I'm an animal communicator, but most of all, I am a psychic. I'm a medium. I'm an animal. You guys can't see my cool tarot shirt. I think my coffee is kicking in.